There was a lot of reasons I wanted to sell my business. I'd been doing it for a little while, very knowledgeable about the industry, but I'm more of a startup kind of guy. Had another project that was needing a lot more of my attention, and I had some investors that kind of insisted that I sell my business. So it was almost a necessity more than a want at that point. That I've actually a startup guy. I've sold a lot of businesses. I've used you before. I've used some of your competitors before. And quite frankly, both the success rate and the amount of return is higher with website closers than anyone I've used before. For me, it was a little bit different than I'm sure it would be for other people. It was a little bit stressful, but not for any other reason than probably my own. I had a very difficult business to sell. I think it's probably justifiably so one of the hardest ones anyone's ever had to try to sell, just because it was so niche. So it took a lot longer than I thought, but only because of the nicheness. We actually had multiple offers very early on. The time for me was just in getting the deal closed. But again, that was definitely not website closers' fault. That was the nicheness, if that's a word, of my business. It was just a very, very, very unique concept. It was a little bit hard to force it across the finish line. I'm very happy overall. I mean, as far as working with my particular broker, Paul, he was always on call. It was very random. It didn't matter what time I called, he'd answer. It was like, I don't think he sleeps. But he was there and made sure that the deal got done and was very on top of it. And quite frankly, if he wasn't as adamant about working on my sale as he was, I don't think we would have got the sale. For sure. It was definitely him that helped propel it to the finish line. So I really appreciate that as we sold it, which was very, very good for me. I needed to get it off my plate. I had other things I needed to deal with. And quite frankly, this business would potentially start suffering if I didn't find it a new owner, because I couldn't give it any time. Paul Vartanian was very, very adamant about staying on top of it and staying on the deal. He was always available, no matter how nervous I was getting throughout the process, because it was, with my nicheness of business, it took a little longer than it typically would, I'm sure. But he was always available. Whenever I called him, I don't think he slept. But he got it there. He stayed on top of it. And I just really want to say thank you to Paul Vartanian. The things that held our deal up was not your fault. I don't think there was really anything you could have done any better than what you did. I think you did a great job, Paul Vartanian. The transaction, once the deal was done, like everything was like instant and great and wonderful. I'm actually currently in process of transferring all the stuff to the new owner. So that's been really great. I'm a developer. I work on projects. I build businesses. We're working, me with some partners are actually working on a few really big projects right now. And as soon as we get them up and going and getting them to a very heightened level of profit, because like I said, we're startup people, we're going to be back. We definitely appreciated the process with you. And so we're definitely going to be seeing you again in the future if you'll have our businesses in the future for sale.